This was the most ambitious broadcast ever for us. We'd done double headers before with Buck Super Rugby back-to-back games. We'd done triple headers before with the Clash on the Court, wheelchair basketball, netball and basketball in the Archers Arena. But this was something else. This was another level. This was 5 separate streams. There was 4 live stream matches, and then one stream was our studio show, which was on air all day, jumping across to roving reporters, multiple locations all over campus. Editorially, it was the biggest thing we'd ever done. The running order was about 100 pages long. There was about 30 VTs. We probably had about 20 guests throughout the day.
Croeso a welcome back to the studio.
And then technically it was phenomenal, and there's a reason for that. We've got a world-class team of technicians who just create this perfect learning environment for the students so they can experience a real-world live broadcast all day long.
This has been months in the planning. On the day itself, we had 11 cameras in total. 2 of those were in our studio, up and running, directly attached to our switching infrastructure. We had 3 permanently located at our basketball venue, one of which was on a monkey tower, giving us the elevation. 2 others were pitchside cameras. We had 2 at football. Lucky that we've got a football gantry. We've also got a rugby gantry. So 2 of the football cameras were moved across to rugby later in the day. But of course, just to give us that live Sky Sports feel, we had 4 cameras, each with live view packs, roving around campus, catching interviews, catching moments with the students. Big undertaking, lots of students on site, so health and safety considerations were something we had to take very, very seriously. We used live view, like I've said, but we also used NDI technology, the ability to send across our vast campus network video signals and ingest over long distances. Made it all come together.
I think we almost poked the hornet's nest by scoring after 4 minutes, didn't we?
Yeah,
galvanised them into action.
Yeah, possibly a little bit too early scoring about.
But it was just the planning. The planning was everything. If we hadn't have put the legwork in and worked with the Students' Union and worked with campus services, none of that would have been possible.
Ever since we started this course back in 2017, I've wanted us to have a show just like this, a bit like Grandstand or Soccer Saturday, where you're on air all day. There's a Sky Sports style graphic around the screen, there's breaking news along the ticker at the bottom, there's latest results, there's live crosses over to reporters, there's everything that you get from the excitement and the unpredictability of a live broadcast. That's what we did.
We worked with the Students' Union here to ensure that our graphics were on brand with their style. They obviously had t-shirts, they had other things printed, and if ours didn't match what they had designed, it would have looked silly. So we had to work closely with them. We came up with a template, very Sky Sports style, BT Sports, with our own little nuances just to make it our own, and that sat over our studio output. It was updated live, and that's where the magic came in, really. The Students' Union, they had enough to deal with. I'm sure they wouldn't want us ringing them every 5 minutes asking them for score updates. So we built a system whereby there was a single point of data entry. It maintained the scores for them, and we ingested that live and dynamically reflected that on our scoring. It was all joined up, and that was the beauty of it. It was quite simple. It was very elegant, and that takes away the pressure from us having to chase people for updates. Takes the pressure away from the Students' Union because they could manage it. We gave them a system by which they could manage it themselves, and bringing all of that together actually made it simple, elegant, I think is the word. And we've all seen the results. It looks really classy, and I'm very pleased with it.
I am joined in studio now with the first victors of today. I'm pleased to say both Ed and Kelsey have led our Cardiff Met cricket team to victories against the University of Bath. Guys, you must be thrilled with that.
Yeah, so basically we started off the day with a 1 hour build-up show inside our studio, and it was filled with VTs, live crosses to reporters. It really gave everyone watching a great sense of the atmosphere here on campus, and we had people in and out of the studio throughout that hour as well. For example, we started off with the cricket team actually. They were our first victors of the day, so of course we were going to have them in studio with us, and they were great to talk to, and again, really give everyone watching that sense of the atmosphere that people were experiencing at Cardiff Met and the occasion itself.
So my role was a roaming reporter for the first part of the day, and I was assigned to the fan zone, so it was a little bit hectic, a little bit hairy at times, but it was my role to line up people to talk to throughout the day. So that included the SU CEO, Will Fuller, to talk about the day's operations and all the planning that went into it. And then we did have an interview lined up with Archie the Archer, the university mascot. However, he was slightly busy at the time when we came to do the interview, so we had to think on our feet, those who were out roaming reporting, and we were able to get hold of one of the bar staff and ask them what it's like serving the students, how the students are enjoying the day.
Now, down in said fan zone, I believe Cian Tukey has caught up with an old friend of his from his training camp days, Archie the Archer.
And I've finally been able to track down Archie the Archer. Archie, what are you thinking of today?
And then in the final hour, we were able to get hold of Archie the Archer from his busy schedule, and we got the interview done and worked into the running order.
This wasn't just about what we did on the day. There was planning for months. Our technical team had been planning, but the students had also been thinking about creative VTs and ideas and treatments. We did a promo shoot all the way back in December where we filmed athletes from every team, and that was part of an assessment where the students had to make an opening promo for VARSITY. And then one of our students, Cian Tukey, took on an amazing opening sequence where he worked with a local spoken word rapper and poet, Duke Al Durham, a former Cardiff Met student.
Bath versus the masterpiece. Cardiff Met with the hardest teams, the largest dreams, witness the scene.
So I was tasked with making the VARSITY opener with local spoken word poet Duke Al Durham, where we culminated and made the promo game on. Now for that we had to work out what verses and lyrics we wanted to be. We wanted it to speak to students, and then it came to filming it, editing it, getting more input from other sporting events we may not have filmed so much this year, such as volleyball. We were going to S&C sessions early on in the morning, and it all culminated into making the promo that was used across social media and throughout the day.
VARSITY, cameras, please. Sports stars about to shine as we start.
Cian Tukey also created a crazy feature with Archie the Archer, the Cardiff Met Sports mascot. He'd lost the mascot race last year in Bath, and this feature was all about how he'd been training all year to try and make sure he could get revenge on the Bath mascot this year. All very surreal, but it perfectly sums up the carnival atmosphere of the day and the chaos of an all-day long broadcast. There was also this amazing moment during the women's rugby live stream where we heard the mascot race was about to take place in the Archers Arena, so we cut live to the Archers Arena, joined the race halfway through. Archie the Archer was winning, won the race, took out a bunch of people on the finish line, and then our reporter Evan was there, sort of Chris Kamara style, saying, I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. It's just brilliant, but the sort of thing that happens when you're on air all day.
Go on. Come on.
Archie wins the race!
Yes!
They started so quickly. I'm so sorry. Yeah, I'm so sorry. They started so quickly. We only just caught the end of the race. That was absolutely chaotic. Archie's won the race. He's champion this year. Doc Norris, I can't say anything, but yeah. Wow, what a race. What a race.
Evan was also part of our social media team. Their job was to create platform-specific content all day long for Instagram, TikTok, where they were doing sort of short-form, bite-sized, shareable, crazy content, which was really aimed at the student audience on the day.
Heinz beans or the own brand?
Heinz beans.
Heinz beans. Thank God for that. Oh yeah, I forgot about these. Chocolate in the fridge or in the cupboard?
Fridge.
Fridge, yeah. And then shower or a bath?
Shower.
Bath.
We also had a student allocated all day specifically to Twitter clipping up all the best moments and pushing them straight out to our Twitter audience to make sure that, you know, if you weren't at the matches watching or you weren't watching the streams on YouTube, you could still be somewhere, anywhere in the world, and see the best bits of our varsity day on your Twitter timeline. So on the day we were streaming across 5 different streams. We were pumping out content on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter. We also had our streams going out onto the big screen in the fan zone so all of the students could watch it. There were people watching, people's parents were watching online, there was alumni watching online, Bath University students were watching online. So wherever you were in the world, you could stay across this amazing varsity event. I've mentioned already how the students, the reporters, were popping up all over campus to do live hits, and that's because we've invested really heavily in some live view kit, some real broadcast standard equipment.
Live view technology is the magic. It's a means by which we can ingest a video signal into a video encoder, which is on a backpack, and it sends that video signal and the audio over a 5G, 4G cellular network. We actually have 2 5G data cards in each of our transmitters. That means we can send our students anywhere on campus, anywhere in the UK in fact, and send signals live into the cloud initially and then back down into our campus broadcast platform. We could do what we wanted with that. Then we could either go to it live or we could do a pre-recorded hit. So if, for example, a game's just finished and campus is busy as the next game wants to get underway, rather than waiting for a convenient moment in our show to go live to the coach, maybe we just do a quick pre-recorded hit with the coach, we ingest it live into the replay system, and then we play that back out when it's convenient. We couldn't do any of that if it wasn't for live view. The flexibility it gives us is incredible. That's the magic in our broadcast.
Let's head down to our news crew now, Caitlin Meredith, who's currently at the hockey pitch with an update. How's it going, Caitlin?
It's still absolutely throwing it down out here, but the crowds have remained positive and they have supported the girls all the way through this encounter.
So on the day, my role was to be a live sort of roaming reporter. I started off at netball. That was a really exciting game and gave sort of score updates throughout the day. I was rushed off my feet all day. Straight from netball, it was straight down to tennis to try and find out what had been going on down there to give the update on that. I then went over to lacrosse and football. The lacrosse had finished, but it was just starting the football, so giving an update on what happened last year and how they were expected to get on today. Before my final lot, which was hockey, it was absolutely hammering down.
Both teams created a lot of chances and the Bath team were desperately trying to avenge that loss that they had last year.
And I had to just get on with it, try and find somewhere to find some shelter so I could continue to give the score updates. There was men's and women's hockey on the day, so it was all about standing there, giving updates as the game went on. They were live hitting to me whenever they could, really. They would come to me at any moment and I had to be prepared to just give the update and help them out. And then after my day was finished, I got called into the studio to give a complete overview of everything I'd been involved in, give my favourite moment of the day, which was probably Archie the Archer winning the sprint.
Being on air for 8 hours meant we had to split the students into sort of mini production teams. So we had 3 separate running orders through the day, we had 3 separate producer directors, we had 3 different presenters through the day, and we knew exactly where every match, every game was kicking off, where it would be played, when it would finish.
I believe we've just had a win for the Met men's singles, which will make it now 4-2. Our other point came from Alex Hyman, of course, in his first opening singles game.
And that's because we've got an amazing relationship with Danielle and Will Fuller and the Cardiff Met SU Sports team. They gave us all the information, they gave us access all areas to film, they gave us little interview zones on campus. So we had freedom of the campus to film whatever we want. And as a result of all that planning, we were able to stick to our running order. We were using something called Rundown Creator to create all our running orders, all our scripts. We had autocue up and running in the studio. We had floor managers who were running back and forth to reception to pick up guests who maybe had just won a match or were just waiting to play their match.
We selected 4 matches that we wanted to stream. We wanted to do them in their entirety, but how do you do that when you want to do a studio show and you want to bring it all together and have one overarching broadcast? So we put a dedicated feed. We did a feed for the wheelchair basketball, men's football, women's rugby and the men's basketball. We did each of those games independently. That meant that if somebody didn't want to go from basketball to football as we switched our main studio feed, they could stay on basketball. They could tune in and watch whatever of those 4 events they wanted to, uninterrupted, without any deviance at all, without any news or feedback from elsewhere that's going on. They just focused on their independent broadcasts. We're lucky. We've got a fantastic broadcast gantry at our rugby pitch. We've got a gantry at football, and we've got a monkey tower that gives us the elevation that we much needed in our basketball arena. So they were our 3 setups. We had 2 events at the arena, so we were able to use that setup at basketball more than once. We had full commentary at each of those sites. 2 commentators, each plugged into that independent stream. And with our talkback system, if we were to throw down from our main studio broadcast and join one of those live events, we would give them a heads up. We're just coming to you. We'll be with you now in 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. And then that live stream then would introduce the fact that we're on the main feed.
Now, turning our attention to a women's rugby team who have enjoyed a strong National League campaign, unfortunately crashing out last week at the semi-finals stage to reigning champions and favourites Hartpury. The players will now look to end their season on a high and for some, Met careers. Let's join our commentary team of James Roberts and Ethan Walsh.
Prynam da a croeso, Rugby 1. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Rugby 1 pitch here at Caoimhe campus.
But of course, if you were watching that independently, your view would be uninterrupted. It was a big undertaking. 4 independent live streams plus our main studio show.
So across the season, some of our students have become incredible commentators. So by the time we got to VARSITY, we had a brilliant pair of commentators on the football, Griff and Jamesy.
He had the chance. It was a tough free kick right on the edge of the box.
Chance from the corner now, though. It's high and it's hanging. It's a touch. Oh, it's a chance, though. It's in. And it's Elliot Creeley who gives Bath the lead against the run of play.
We had 2 fantastic commentators in the Archers Arena covering basketball. That was Ryan and Dav.
Dan Flaherty shows, goes, drives. He hits it.
And we had a dream team of rugby commentators, James and Ethan.
Yeah, and it's sailed between the uprights. It's 2 extra points for Cardiff Met.
So they've really matured as commentators this year. They've grown, and it was just amazing to see the amount of prep they were doing, the amount of research they were putting in. They've learned so much from the likes of Dave Rogers on the Bucks Super Rugby this year, who's been really supportive with them. And I'm not surprised that so many of those commentators I've just named are now getting paid work in the industry. James has been commentating on the UK lacrosse recently. He's been doing Bucks Super Rugby. He's been doing American football. Dav has been doing international basketball. Ryan's been doing international basketball for Basketball Wales. So it is no surprise that the experiences that they've had working for Cardiff Met Sport TV this year and working on the VARSITY has now led to them getting paid professional work out in the industry, and we're so proud of them.
So before coming to study on the course at Cardiff Met, I had an interest in commentary. I thought it would be a really cool part of sports broadcasting to explore. And since coming onto the course, with the opportunities that have been made available to us the entire time we've been studying, I've just fallen in love with it. I absolutely adore commentating on a variety of sports, and the opportunities here at Cardiff Met were there to inspire me to do more. And actually, it wasn't just myself that fell in love with commentary. It's people like Davith Jones, Ryan Bellini, Matt James, and we've all, thrown ourselves into this commentary position, and we've had so much experience throughout the year as well that all of us have developed our craft and really honed in our own personal take on commentary as well. And needless to say, it's then gone on to outside world experiences. I've gone on to commentate on Championship Rugby. I know Dav's been commentating on a lot of Basketball Wales stuff, as well as our very own Cardiff Met Archers in a Women's Premier League as well, nonetheless. So it's been fantastic to see that those opportunities are there, and it's been a great experience, and VARSITY was a fantastic commentary experience as well.
We also have a few students that love presenting. That was James, Kian, Meg. They were on air all day, and running orders were changing, guests weren't showing up, breaking news was happening, but they were unflappable all day. Really slick, really professional, and we were so impressed with how they handled everything. Talk back, changes, live TV can be crazy, but they were fantastic.
Across the day, I got to produce, direct and present, so it gave me a feel for the whole day, the whole production. I had to prep, write scripts, design running orders, and I just learned so much. I learned what it was like to be a part of so many different aspects of a live production that involves so many different sports, so many unexpected scenarios, and just learning how to deal with it all, staying calm under pressure, and I would 100% do it again.
So yeah, after I was a roaming reporter, I had the chance to present the second out of 3 parts of the live show, and I love getting my face in front of camera, so I was absolutely buzzing to do it. I think we ended up recording for about 4 to 5 hours. I was having to throw to, 3 different games here.
One team chasing a win to another. Caitlin, how are we looking down at the hockey?
Within that was a variety of guests I was interviewing, talking about their sports, talking about results, and we were having to think on our feet because we constantly had scores and results coming in. But at the same time, we have to make sure that we were giving the people we were interviewing enough time on camera, making sure that they knew they were valued and an important part of VARSITY. So that was really fun. It was constantly working, tiring work, but so rewarding at the end of it. And then for the third part of the show, I was helping to co-produce. We had issues with getting guests in on time. We had blocks that needed to be filled, but we were able to do that well by getting to our contacts throughout the university, and we were able to get the show over the line in the end.
We did 5 streams and 1 8-hour-long broadcast. No technical glitches, none of the streams went off air. It was clean all day. The students were phenomenal. It was all down to planning, the preparation, the kit that we'd invested in, the teamwork. The students had an absolutely incredible experience, bringing together such a plethora of roles. Some on cameras, some taking care of graphics, some were on-screen talent, some were doing replays, some were doing the production. It didn't matter what we pushed them towards, they all embraced it with 2 hands and just ran with the opportunity. There aren't many places where you could do a single 8-hour broadcast with 5 complete streams. The experience is just fantastic. It was hard work. It was a long day, but just so rewarding for them, for the staff that were there helping it along. Everybody took their own individual responsibility, behaved professionally. It was just fantastic.
People talk about the Cardiff Uni v Swansea Uni VARSITY being a massive event, and it is, but they don't live stream it all day like we do. They don't showcase it to the world like we do with our Cardiff Met and Bath University VARSITY. But what we're trying to do here is create a situation, create an environment where our students, our broadcast and media students, can be placed into real world scenarios with industry pressures, with deadlines, with a live audience, all of the things you'd expect if you were working on Soccer Saturday for Sky Sports or on Match of the Day. We do all of that here. We're doing live match coverage, live commentary, live graphics, analysis. We're creating VTs. We've got presenters and reporters and floor managers and directors and camera operators and people operating the replay machines. All of that is happening, and it's giving them an experience that we really don't think you can get at any other university in the UK. And that's why we think this group of sport broadcast students have got an amazing future ahead of them.